So we will move. Thank you. We will move on to the next favorite liquid embolic agent. Obviously, everybody knows about it. So ONYX. So again, I would request the Medtronic R&D team to come and explain to us about the different density of ONYX and what goes through in the process of making. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. I'll give a talk on ONYX. Thank you, Dr. Kaushik, for saying that it's your favorite liquid embolic agent. Because it's the very first embolic agent, I believe. It's been in use for more than 20 years, so there's a lot of clinical evidence backing the use of ONYX as a liquid embolic agent. So I'll go through these characteristics of ONYX today. Some of it you might be very familiar with, like what my friend Ujjwal talked about. But overall, ONYX mainly consists of three key ingredients. One is the EVOH, which is the ethylene vinyl alcohol copolymer. Second one is DMSO, like a solvent. It's basically a carrying agent for the EVOH. And the third one is the micronized tantalum powder, just for visualization purposes. So ONYX is available in three kind of SKUs. So it's called the ONYX 18, ONYX 20, and ONYX 34. So the numbers 18, 20, and 34, they represent the viscosity of the ONYX that you're using. So smaller the number, the easier it flows. So the 18 and the 20 is more preferable to use in distal vessels where you need fast flowing of the ONYX. And for really large vessels where you have extremely high flow, you need a more viscous ONYX. So in those cases, you would use the ONYX 34. So the ONYX itself is supplied in these components. You have one vial of ONYX, you have one vial of DMSO, and then along with that, you are supplied with 3 1 ml syringes so that you can mix and inject. So just on DMSO, like Ujjwal mentioned, it's a potent solvent. So once it comes in contact with blood and other interstitial fluids, it starts to dissipate. So that's why when you're using ONYX to inject ONYX, you essentially pre-fill your delivery catheter with DMSO. So that acts as a carrying agent for the EVOH to pass through. And the EVOH itself, once it comes in contact with blood or saline, it starts to solidify. So you want to make sure that there's no saline in your catheter. It's only DMSO that's pre-filled in the catheter as you're injecting the EVOH through. Here are some step-by-step instructions on how to use ONYX. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with it. I'll just quickly go through that. So you initially take the vials and homogenize them, so you put them through the shaker, and then you have the microcatheter in place like a marathon or an ultra flow. And then you flush the microcatheter with saline initially just to get all the air out of the microcatheter, and then you pre-fill them with DMSO. So the DMSO is, like I mentioned earlier, it's the carrying agent for the EVOH to pass through. So make sure that you fill it completely with DMSO. And we also recommend that once you fill it with DMSO, you basically keep it vertical so that there are no air bubbles in them. And if there are any air bubbles, it rises to the top and goes away. And you fill it all the way to the brim so it kind of overflows through the hub. Then you take the syringe that is provided, you aspirate the ONYX system into the syringe, and then you hub it into the DMSO filled microcatheter, and then you fill it and start injecting through the microcatheter. And then as you're injecting your ONYX, you will see that it starts to solidify from the outside, which is a huge benefit because you don't want any reflux of the ONYX beyond the microcatheter as it moves proximal. So anything more than 1 centimeter, you don't want to make it reflux. So once it comes into contact with blood, it starts to solidify from the outside, so which is always better rather than solidifying from the inside to the outside. Some key things to remember about ONYX is that it starts to solidify once it comes in contact with blood or saline. So just remember that you need to pre-fill the microcatheter with the DMSO because that acts as the carrying agent. And As far as the delivery is concerned, you can stop and start the delivery with a few 2-minute intervals, not more than 2-minute intervals, just to make sure that your positioning is right. If you want to adjust your microcatheter position or go a little bit more distal, you can adjust it, but not to exceed beyond that 2-minute limit, because once it comes in contact with the blood, the reaction is happening. So it's solidifying as you're injecting it. Lastly, I mentioned earlier in the talk that if there's one thing that you want to remember from the talk, just remember this, that it's one of the very first embolic agent introduced, and it's got more than 20 years of clinical evidence. So I just wanted to highlight one or two of them, just so that that's something key that you can take away from this talk. So one is that the safety and efficacy has been demonstrated for the use of in cerebral AVMs is one. The second one is it's been shown demonstrated safety and efficacy for dural AV fistulas. And the last one is there is an embolized trial in progress for use in middle meningeal artery embolization. The study is not complete. It's more than, I think, 400 subjects. So we hope to get the results for this very soon, but this study is in progress. That's all I had. Any questions?
Thank you so much for that.